I'm Eric Leonardson. I'm an artist, designer, and an advocate for education, creativity, and nonprofits. I work for both architectural engineering and construction, or the AE industry, as well as with museums. There are a lot of different careers in the AEC industry. Some of them are technical, but there's a lot that are not. You'd be surprised how many different career paths you can actually have with an architectural engineering training that turn into supporting this profession as well as totally others. So there's a handout on our company page that details the background, education, training needed for all these more traditional AEC professions. Check that out. Most people think that a career in the AEC industry actually is all about designing construction for buildings, mechanical systems, electrical, roads, bridges, infrastructure, but they also need accountants, HR specialists, marketing, and other support staff. If you like architecture, but you don't like doing the technical work, those professions would be great. So there's lots of ways to be connected to the industry. For me, I always hooked on architecture when I was a kid playing with Legos. But I also liked math and science. So when I went to college, I started out as a math and physics double major, but switched halfway through to be an art major. And then I'd never taken art in high school, so it was kind of fun. Then I went in to get Master of Architecture at the U of M, where I needed a creative portfolio to be accepted, but I still had to have that technical math and physics background to even apply. I worked in architecture for many years, designing buildings, but found I liked working on the front end of a project at the beginning, where you gathered ideas, visions, and projects to present those ideas to the clients. That led to me doing even more marketing just to win projects for the architecture firm. Now, I spend a lot of my time doing graphic design, coaching for interviews, photography of completed projects, and sometimes even a little architecture. But what took me on the widest diverging career path was volunteering for a local nonprofit. I joined the Children's Museum of Southern Minnesota's board when they just started out to help them find a building that would best meet their needs for the organization. So I was totally architecture, but then I found myself building an exhibit for one of our temporary spaces that became something that really sparked my curiosity and passion. I built an interactive, hands-on exhibit that showcased STEM education principles, a series of tunnels made of packing tape. The exhibit named Tapescape was hugely popular, and I started getting invitations to build this exhibit in places all over the world, as far away as Dubai and Australia, in children's museums, science centers, and art galleries. I now have completed 25 installations over the last 10 years, and I got to meet people through community building exercises with companies, schools, and other museum staff and artists. This project brought together all my backgrounds from math, science, art, engineering, and architecture. Back to architecture. I've worked in both large and small offices in larger metros and smaller towns, and they're all very different. In a larger firm, you get to work on projects all over the world or the US, but you may only do a small part of a project. In smaller firms, you get to do things you've never trained for. You learn new things and do more of everything since there's a lot less people to do the work. All firms work long, sometimes crazy hours on projects to meet deadlines, but most of our days are flexible and you can take more time off. There are also full-time and part-time positions available at most firms. Right now I'm part-time, so I have time to do art installations. I currently work at Widseth. It's a newer firm to the Mankato area, where I just moved into a new building in Bridge Plaza right here. You can learn more about that project through a video series that Brady, my coworker you'll meet soon, shot, edited, and posted online. Widseth is a firm that mostly architects, engineers, scientists, and surveyors, but we also have accountants, assistants, writers, marketers, graphic designers, photographers, animators, artists, even airline and drone pilots. We have 7 offices throughout Minnesota and 1 in North Dakota. And while the firm has more civil and city engineering projects like roads, bridges, water, wastewater projects, I'm going to introduce you to my other creative coworkers, Ashley, one of our architects. She'll tell you what she does and how she found her path into architecture.
As Eric mentioned, my name is Ashley Martell and I'm an architect at Widseth. While my path was a little bit more traditional, it was by no means traditional. As an architect, you work with a lot of C's, even though architect starts with an A. First, we meet with the client who has an idea of something they want to build. It can be a homeowner or a business owner. From there, we try to create plans and elevations and drawings based on what their dreams are to make it a reality. When putting these drawings together, we think about codes that look to ensure the health, safety, and well-being of all of its occupants. Those codes can be such as the number of people in the space or what direction the door swings. Next time you go into a retail space, see whether the door that's leaving the building pushes out. It should. With these plans, we collaborate with engineers of all types, civil, structural, mechanical. They then put together drawings based on their discipline, and we send those drawings out to contractors and builders who will then build the project based on those construction documents that we put together. We then answer questions to make sure that it meets what the client needs. As you can see, there's quite a bit of a variety in the world of architecture, and you can do a little bit of everything, or you can specialize in something like 3D renderings and the initial design portion of this design, which is what I really love to do and has become quite a passion of mine. With great power comes great responsibility. While this is a comment from Spider-Man, architects have quite a bit of responsibility as well. And those responsibilities require us to be licensed. To become licensed, you have to go to an accredited school, get a master's degree, and then take boards to become an architect. When you're touring schools, find the right school for you. When I toured my first school, I absolutely hated it. I thought architecture was the wrong career path for me. But I didn't give up, and I toured another school and ended up falling in love with it. It was the perfect choice for me and my career path. If I was a 9th grader again, I would try absolutely everything. So many times we focus on math, art, because those are what you think you need as an architect. But in reality, it's all those little things that you do, such as random jobs in maybe retail or amusement park like I did. They come in handy and help make you the unique architect you will be. Those little quirky jobs that I had actually are projects that I've worked on as an architect. And they have come in so handy because you can speak the language that those clients use, and you can help give a little insights based on your experience for that. Also, things like photography or graphic design or buildings, construction, all those things will help you as well. As an architect doing 3D renderings, how you set up the shot is huge in selling a project. And those little tricks you'll learn in photography class will give you an eye for what is the perfect thing for that. So find out what your passions are. That's what will make you a unique, amazing architect that clients will come to you for advice and for their design. Pursue your passions. So, as I work more specifically in the 3D modeling and rendering portion of design, I get to work closely with Brady in our marketing department, and he will speak to you next.
Thanks, Ashley. Hi, everyone. I'm Brady Bustler, and I'm the Digital Marketing Manager at Widseth. I'm also a licensed remote pilot, so that means I get to fly drones as part of my job, which is pretty cool. Although I'm in marketing now, I also have a background in architecture, similar to Ashley and Eric. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in architecture from the University of Minnesota and a Master of Architecture degree as well. I wanted to be an architect. That's what I thought I wanted to do. But sometimes your plans don't always work out the way you think they're going to, and you need to be able to adapt. So unfortunately, I started my architecture career during the recession in 2009, which was not good. Firms were forced to lay off a lot of their employees. So my wife and I decided to become teachers on the island of Saipan, which is way out in the Pacific Ocean. After spending a year there, we came back to the US, and my wife got a teaching job in Brainerd. There still weren't many architecture jobs, especially in a smaller town, so I decided to work at Target as a store manager. That lasted about 4 months, and I quickly realized that working in retail was definitely not for me. My passions are in drawing, painting, architecture, and 3D modeling, and I knew I needed to get back into a creative environment somehow. Then I saw a job opening for a marketing position at an architecture and engineering firm, and I decided to go for it, and I'm very glad that I did. I've worked in marketing at Widseth for almost 9 years, and it's been awesome. I collaborate with architects and engineers all the time on a variety of projects. I get to be involved in the cool parts of architecture like animations, renderings, photography, and videos. And I don't have to worry about codes like Ashley mentioned earlier and the details of how a wall is actually put together. The technical side of architecture never really excited me that much, and I was always more drawn to the artistic side of architecture. Buildings with cool shapes, materials, and patterns, and the different types of spaces architecture can create. Our environment has a big impact on our day-to-day lives, and it's the architect's job to create a place that people want to inhabit. Although I'm not a licensed architect, I feel that the skills I learned in architecture school have helped me throughout my entire career. Architecture teaches you the process of solving complex problems. It teaches you to be innovative, strategic, and bold. If you're interested in pursuing architecture as a career, I strongly encourage you to do so. Follow your passion and do what makes you happy. Good luck.